Greetings and stalagmites, everyone. Tonight is not going to be too eventful. I'm not sure. Just woke up from a nap again. Sometimes I pass out after I get home. Sometimes I don't. But I thought last night, when I did tonight, I was going to be more energetic. Just feels like I'm getting more and more run down as the days go on, but I don't know what that's due to. But in terms of what to talk about tonight, I think first of all I'm going to probably not do TMI Tuesday too much in the future, just because I end up running out of things to say. If something happens to come to me, then I'll address it on that day, but if it's hard for me to force myself to think of something that day. Motivational Monday is kind of easy because, well, there's always a reason to be motivational. There's always a reason to it's always easy to come up with something that can push people forward. It's easy to do that, but in terms of talking about my personal life, it's not always something that I can just easily talk about. In regards to some of the things that I suppose that are happening in the news, there is actually something that came up today that I thought was rather interesting, and I'm not a huge fan of. Felicia Day had actually posted it on Google Plus, and I think I saw something about it on Facebook, but this was something that I felt pretty strongly about once I saw the initial information about it. And if you haven't heard about it, then you will now. So the company who made Candy Crush, King.com, they basically wanted to copyright the word candy, which is a ridiculous notion. It just doesn't make any sense why you would, yes, let's go ahead and trademark something that, a common word that people use, and not allow other people to use it, or if somebody else uses it in any way, then we're going to sue them. And it falls into this whole copyright law thing. It doesn't make any sense. It's just gotten more and more stupid as the years have gone on. Samsung and Apple and all these companies getting together and fighting and bickering about whether or not they're using each other's patents and ideas, and nothing's coming out of it. It seems like almost since this whole copyright battle with various companies, ideas and technology and such have kind of stagnated. It's funny seeing actually that companies like Steam or game companies seem to be coming away with more things than the bigger technology companies have. And now I think perhaps even King is trying to make things stagnate by not allowing people to do any creativity with the word candy. Anyway, the particular article that come out today was from a president and founder of Run Some Apps Incorporated. She basically had created a game 2 years before Candy Crush Saga came out, and it was called CandySwipe. And she was in the process of trying to copyright that so that people weren't able to use CandySwipe, for instance. Not Candy. Candy, obviously, doesn't make any sense. Using CandySwipe, it's pretty obvious it's a game. Not many people are going to use CandySwipe. So they had made the game after the passing of one of their relatives, and the proceeds and everything were pretty much going towards that and helping either their lives after that and so on. And, of course, King is going after them. Fucking whoop-de-doo. Good job, guys. You're pissing somebody else off. And now, of course, by doing this, the person actually has come out and said, you know what? You guys are a bag of dicks. Because now you are dragging my name, kind of, or the name of my game through the mud. And now you're trying to not only prevent me from using it, but you're trying to copyright it for your own good and make sure that nobody can use my name for my game that I created 2 years before your game came out. And it's bullshit. It doesn't make any sense at all. I feel pretty strongly about it because this is another prime example of not only trying to take down the little guy, but the fact that, well, so not only are you trying to take down the little guy, but they came up with this idea before you did, and you have the nerve to come up and say, no, this was our idea? No. No, this is pretty much a large screw you to King, because you guys didn't come up with the idea for it. Somebody else did, 2 years before you did. You just happen to have more money to throw around, so now you're getting into the idea of, well, this is ours. No, it's not yours. Let somebody else do what they were supposed to and allow them to make a profit and make a game that people found enjoyable. And it's sad to see the fact that companies that are starting to bicker and all this, it's starting to affect the little people too. And it's not fair. I mean, imagine me as a photographer by hobby and coming up with a name, and this was one of the hardest things I had to do when I tried to come up with the name for my little side project, Layered Arts Studio. If you go out there and you can find the site for it, it's actually should be layeredarts.com. Sadly, right now it's kind of in shambles. It has been for a little while, just because I've lost the effort to maintain it and whatnot. It's currently sitting on a site that's like about.me or whatever. But imagine me trying not to stray too far away from the point. It's like me as a photographer and coming up with a name, and 2 years from now, somebody else comes along and says, well, I just happen to have a lot of money and a lot of lawyers, so I'm going to take your name, right? That's okay. Oh, well, actually, you know what? I don't care if it's okay. I'm still going to take it. It's more than just unfair. It's frustrating because now nobody else can come up with a name that's even similar to the one that I had. And I mean, I didn't have it copyrighted by any means. I'm not about to go down that path. I don't have the need to. I'm not making money out of my current my side project, so albeit to whoever wants to take that name, I suppose, go ahead. But in the meantime, it's my fault for not even taking action. But in this case, the person clearly has tried to start taking some action about keeping their own name, CandySwipe, from allowing other people to use it. So it's not fair to the little people, and it's not fair to everybody else, because now, I mean, I heard of CandySwipe through this, and I would honestly rather play CandySwipe than play Candy Crush, because the only reason I actually had heard of Candy Crush was because of a training session I had gone through for work, and they were talking about limitation of mobile apps and preventing people from, say, downloading Candy Crush, for instance, but how addicting it was. And that was how I heard of it and started playing it, and was like, this is kind of a cool game. But once I heard of all this starting to happen, I just said, you know what, that's not fair, and deleted anything that has to do with them. I actually had 2 games installed that I was playing of theirs, not only Candy Crush Saga, but I was playing, I think there was an Animal one. It was a slightly different puzzle game that they had, but pardon me, I just deleted both of them. I just said, you know what, it doesn't make sense. So that's how I feel about the whole thing. So if you haven't heard about it, go look it up. You should be able to find it. I'll actually put a link down in this letter in the notes for this. So if you feel that this is unfair to the smaller people, and you feel the same way I do, then check out that letter. And I'm not sure what anybody can really do about it just yet, but I'm sure there's complaints that can be made, and I'm surprised King really hasn't backed down yet. I'm assuming a number of people have already been complaining about this, but if in my opinion, I don't think King should be a company. It seems like everything that they stand for is wrong. Because everything that they've done, starting with the candy trademark thing, no. This is not how you treat other people. Even if it's just another person, treating other companies as well, it's unfair. So check that out. I'll put the link down in the notes below. Other than that, the only other thing I can think of, and actually it falls into the same category, the game Flappy Bird became very, very popular recently. It's same category because it's talking about games and mobile games, but not in copyright issues. Though, there was a few articles about Flappy Bird that had talked about how essentially the artwork and some of the mechanics, I think the mechanics, mostly the artwork, is a ripoff of Mario Brothers, which, of course, as we all know and love, has been out for years. And the guy was making, I think, the number that sticks out in my head is about $50,000 a day off of the sale or whatnot from the game for Flappy Bird, and that's just ridiculous. $50,000 a day? Like, really? You don't need a job. But he took it down, and it's been down for a few days now, actually. And he's still going to make games, but it's funny how such a simple game, literally such a simple game, I mean, literally all you're doing is you're just tapping the screen. Just tapping the screen here. Yeah, okay, this is addicting. And it's everyone that I've seen that's played the game just can. It's very much one of those. It's just silence, and you hear the sound of passing through the gaps in the pipes, and then you hear the sound of the crash as they hit it, and it's just immediately silence. Ding, ding, ding. Everyone just gets so frustrated with it. It's hilarious. If for no other reason than I've never seen people as frustrated as they have been playing this game. But that's out of the market now, and that's I'd be more intrigued to see what else the person has to come up with besides Flappy Bird, because it's just not a terribly original game, and it's also extremely simple. Looking at the game actually makes me think of games from, I think, the old Sega console. I can't remember what the name of the console was, but not the Genesis, but the one before that. And it just reminds me of one of those types of games. There was one for it that looks kind of similar to, but that's pretty much all I've got for today. And I'm running a little long, and I apologize, but at least with the candy thing, I felt that there was something to talk about there. And I wanted to make sure that the word got out about it, and that people are aware that King is not a force to be reckoned with, but they also shouldn't be a force to begin with. Doesn't seem like there's a whole lot to go on for the people who work there, and they just shouldn't exist. It doesn't make any sense. I know I've said that over and over, but it doesn't. Logically, it doesn't make any sense to treat someone else the way that they're treating people, regarding just a basic word that is in the English dictionary. So, anyway, that's going to do it for tonight. So, tomorrow will be my last real night of inviting you into my room and sitting down with you. Then after that, I will be heading on my way to Southern California and heading down to Disneyland. And I'm sure I will take lots of pictures, and I will try to take some video as well. Very likely with my DSLR, maybe some with my phone. Since cell phones are pretty useless in Disneyland, mostly because of how the signals are, and I'm assuming it's because of the overloading. There's just so many people there and trying to all use the same cell towers, and the signal is ridiculous. I don't recall if I've actually been down there while I was on Verizon. When I was on Sprint, it was ridiculous. There was no point. But on Verizon, I think it's very similar. Plus, it's very hard to keep a charge because your phone is just constantly searching for a signal. But anyway, all that aside, I will hopefully have some videos from this weekend. Probably not posted this weekend. And look forward to that. In the meantime, I'm going to let you all go. And until next time, good night and good luck.